Hi, I'm Daryl Masaki from Masaki's Auto Repair. I'm one of the owners of the repair shop. This will be basically one of our first seminars that we'll be doing on the website to better understand how your vehicle runs. We're going to first start off with the braking system on your typical vehicle, passenger vehicle. Brakes basically is very important in your car, as everybody knows about that, because without the braking system, how are you going to stop the car? What I'm going to go over is just a review, a preliminary review, very basic review on how a braking system works. To do this, I did bring in a sample, a desktop prototype of how a brake system works, and we're talking about the front brakes. First of all, what you do have is a parts that consist of the front brakes that run. You have a rotor, you do have brake calipers, the hydraulically stops the brakes, as well as your brake pads. The brake pads actually goes into the calipers like this. It's attached to the rotors. Once I can get this in. And your calipers basically goes over this. Again, as I said, is that it is operated hydraulically. So whenever you press on your brake pedal, what happens is that it sends the line pressure of brake fluid into your calipers that squeezes the brake pad onto the rotors to stop the rotors from spinning. It's very basic, but it's not as simple as you think it is. Number one, when you do a brake system, I do highly recommend that you use quality parts. I wouldn't suggest that you use cheap parts or inferior parts. For one thing, it's because you have to rely on your brakes in order to stop the car and prevent from any type of bodily harm or injury to innocent bystanders. The second portion that I want to talk about is what happens when you don't change your brake system. What you do have is you have the same thing as a brand new system. You have a part that's basically the rotors, and what I'm basically trying to show you is grooves in the rotors. These grooves are caused by not changing the pad itself. When the pads wear down, it causes the metal to hit the rotor. And when that happens, it's that now it costs you more to replace it. You have to replace the rotors, the pads. Hopefully you have not damaged the caliper itself. So basically, if you look at it, this is how a damaged rotor looks like. Again, as I said, before you get to this stage, it's better that you go ahead and you do an inspection of the brake itself. Some of the symptoms that you're going to find knowing that you have a brake problem is you have a brake squeak. Squeaking is caused when you're coming to slowing your vehicle down. Number one is that you notice that it squeaks a lot coming from your front brakes or your rear brakes. Number two is that you find that when you're stopping the car, your brake pedal feels very spongy. That's another indication your brake is going bad. The third is when you're making a turn and you notice that there's a chirping noise, either coming from the left or the right. That's an indication, number one, that you should check your brakes. And fourthly is, most important, is that when a service guy looks at your brakes, your hydraulic brake is called your brake master, and you find that the brake fluid is low, well, that's an indication that the brake pads or your brake shoe is low. Hydraulic fluid is oil-based, which means it does not evaporate, it goes someplace. The hydraulic fluid takes up space where your pads are no longer thick, it gets kind of thin. That's another indication that you should check your brakes. Having said all this, you should take your vehicle to a qualified repair shop like us that is certified and to go over the brake system. Yeah, that's basically what it is. In our next video that we'll probably be doing, we'll start going to more technical things about brakes. So what I would recommend you to do is stay tuned, look for our next video that we might be coming up with next month, and we'll go over more into details of how our brake system works, how you should service it, what it takes to service the vehicle. So having said that, I hope you enjoyed the video itself. See you next month.